So, hi everyone, and welcome. This evening I'm hosting Lizz Daniels, a wonderfully talented, original, funny artist, a Brit who lives in Norway. And one of the things that got me really interested in art is that during the pandemic, she started posting on social media almost on a daily basis, I think, a picture of herself with a sort of a hat. And the hat was made out of recycled materials. And I remember each time I saw them, I just burst out laughing. It was really so funny and so original. And then recently she took all the images of those 50
Right.
hats, and she created a poster. So I want her to talk about herself. I want to invite Liz to talk about herself, tell us her story, and then we'll talk a little more about
Well,
her hats. So Liz, the stage is yours, and I'm going to pin you. Okay, go ahead.
first of all, everyone always says this, don't they? Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. But to really be honest, this was like a breath of fresh air for me. I thought all this corona stuff has got a bit heavy, and it's not so easy to see the positive these days. And um, so when you suggested I do it, I was so happy. I was so happy. It really gave me a lovely little push to think, great, I can talk about my hats, because out of all the things that I love to talk about, I love talking about my hats because they gave such a lot of joy at the time of making them. And I really felt that they were my authentic self coming out. And in all the art that I've done, and I've done quite a bit of art over the years, I've always been creative. To lesser or greater degrees. I've loved recycling and everything. I'm a terrible collector. I have got so much stashed away in cupboards, drawers, and all the rest. And to get involved in this, in making these hats on a daily basis, it was. I put something up daily for over 60 days. It wasn't always a hat. In between, I used some of these Victorian half face masks, which sort of gave me a little bit of space in between making the hats to have a breather, because a hat a day is quite a feat. So but doing these hats, I felt so alive. I just felt so alive. It started just with one, the first one, and that came about because I was so frustrated or at having no voice. It was the beginning of the corona, and there was lots of stuff being thrown at us. The radio was just nothing but fear, and hasn't stopped being fear since those days, I might say. And I was saying some things to different people about how I felt about it, and things that might be happening in the future. And I got called some of these names like conspiracy theorist and stuff, which I picked up on because I thought, I've got a voice here. I want a voice. I need to say it. And so my first hat was the tin foil hat, which I haven't put up there to show.
Uh,
And then I thought, shall I post it? Will I post it? No, no, no. Oh, I'll only get a load. And I posted it, and I got so much positive feedback from it that it just set me on a little motion. It set me, yeah, into looking at the things that I've got. So the next one, and then the next one. And all I did was listen to myself in what was going on in me during these times. And there's this saying by Goethe, and it's followed me all my life. Well, since I've been about 30. I'm 68 now, and it's been with me a lot. And he says, whatever you do or dream you can do, begin it now. For boldness has genius and magic in it. And the boldness was starting it off. And this is all to do with quantum stuff as well, because all the while you're sitting there, oh, I don't know what to do. What can I do? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, well, what if, da, da, da. And I did do something, and it was like, I call it a wild card, because it just flashed down into me, and I thought, right, I'm going to do that. And then it set off a momentum. It really set off a momentum. And, you know, over that 60 days, I was dreaming hats. I was seeing hats everywhere. As I went around, I was maybe looking for bases, and then I'd see something and I'd, oh, yes, I can do that. And, oh, right. Or then I'd look at what I've got. As I've said, I'm a terrible collector. I collect I collect lots of things. Like one of the hats which we'll look at is called Sushi Lover, and it's made from all the little fishes that you get the soy sauce in. So it was an opportunity to use them up in a funny way. So I thought, what have I got? Oh, lots of these little sushi things. What can I do with those? And so up came the sushi hat. And I just love doing it. It just set my creativity off on a roller coaster. And they, as I say, it just came to me. Ideas just came to me out of the blue. My studio was in the biggest mess. There were things everywhere, because not only went with the hats, but then I dress up a bit sometimes to fit with the hat, the character that I was trying to portray. And I've always had a stash of dressing up clothes, because I think dressing up is brilliant. We used to go to festivals with the dressing up clothes and get people to dress up and just have fun. They'd hire the clothes and then bring them back at the end. So getting this sort of idea of transformation has always been about with me. So to play around with these roles, this was also a hugely bold step on my behalf, to actually show myself on camera like I did, wrinkles and sort of flabby neck and it was quite, but and also the selfies, like I'm not a selfie person, you know, oh, look at me, do. But sitting there and making these silly or quite poignant poses was something else. That was something else altogether, to sit and do that. And I took all the photographs myself with my phone, sitting in front and doing it. And sometimes I might sit for half an hour or more with the phone and doing all these smart click, click, smile to get the right one of what I wanted. So it was a feat all round. It was a feat all round. Oh, look, there you got me going. See how animated I become.
Okay, so I'm showing now the two posters I see that it's only one actually. I have put them both side by
Yeah, no,
side.
there's two posters there.
There's two, yeah, there's two posters. Yeah, yeah, right. So what I want to do, I'm actually going to run through each one of them, and the ones that you've sent me, you've selected some, and tell us the story of each one, if you may. Okay?
Yeah, yeah. So this is called the garlic eater. And all the small bits around the hat are pieces of garlic, of which I have saved over endless years. I have a whole sort of bag of it, these little garlic bits, which I think are so funky and I love them. And this was about at this time in the pandemic, everyone was coming up with remedies, herbal remedies, what we should be taking to keep our immune systems up and running and to keep fit and healthy. And this was my contribution. eat a lot of garlic. Yeah, garlic's good for you. Keep the garlic going. So that's and the top of it is actually a steamer, an old Chinese steamer for steaming vegetables.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
And yeah, this one was anything for an easy life. And it's quite strange because throughout this time, this would have been round about in early April, somewhere in April, and already it felt as if there wasn't a voice, that we were being herded like sheep. I felt that I was being put into that category, and that was way back then. And I must admit, when I look at all the hats now and relate them to today, it was like having some sort of premonition about them, in that they've really fulfilled their creative purpose. Because,
Yeah.
you know, when you use words, that's words offer resistance and people can argue with them. But when you present a picture, then it has a little bit more of artistic value, and everyone can take their own interpretation of it. And this was what was so wonderful with the hats, because nothing was hard and fast. And they were all rather funny. Some of them had a very strong message, but most of them were very funny. And do you know, I think that laughter and the clowning, of which I've had a little bit to do with in my life, is a great way of expression. So, and again, I mean, to do a face like this, I mean,
Yeah. Okay, next.
and
Love this one. I really loved it when I saw it. It blew my head.
yeah, this one's called Powerless. And that's what it felt like at the time. I was totally powerless. And like this one here, I had the idea, oh, powerless. Oh, I just get all those bits and pieces that I've got. And like this one here didn't take hardly any time at all to get together, whereas some of them did, but this one wasn't. And the lovely thing about this one, this is another one of these wild cards, is that on Instagram, an electrical company saw it, Norwegian, and I think they do quite ecological power systems, and they brought the rights off me, which was
Whoa.
really nice to have that. But you wouldn't believe the dilemma that I was put in as to how much to ask. They said, "How much do you want for this?" And it was terrible. I didn't know what to say.
There are people you can ask.
Of course, they want it for as cheap as they can get, and they want people. Like, my first thing almost was to say, "Oh, you can have it because it would be nice." And like, no, you can't do that. They've got the money, they buy it. So that was another stepping thing, to actually ask for a price. Okay, and this
Hold on
one,
for a second. I have to admit someone and we continue. Yeah.
and this one is called "When in Doubt, Wear Fruit." So, and that's what it is. The little white thing on the top is a little crochet basket that I got from the charity shop, that's been dipped in sugar starch, so it's all stiff. And I just loved it because of its form and the shape of it. And then that gave me the base for this hat, and the forced cherries. And this one that I got put into a book in one of the projects that were being made during quarantine, and so this and a couple of others of mine got put in the book there, which was it was not being paid or anything, it was doing it. And money that we raised went to London's homeless, or to the homeless in England, so that was rather nice. Yes. Someone said to here, I look like a rather prickly cheerleader. And The man I live with is an acupuncturist, and he has masses of needles, of which I had access to, and it was all getting a bit much at this time, so I thought I'd have a bit of needle therapy.
Oh, this is great.
And then we just have to have a little break sometimes. This was another easy one to get together, and all these. I don't know where the ideas come from. This is what I mean. They just come, and I thought, oh, I could put that on there and have a cup of tea, and and so there was that. And this one's called "Anyone for a Nice Cup of Tea." And in England, it is when it's getting tough and things are heavy out at sea, then that's what we do. We say, anyone for a nice cup of tea?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Now, this was one of my real favourites. Do you think you could just show the other one too,
Yeah.
and then come back to this one? This is the top of it there, the other one.
That's the top?
That's the top, right? That's what it looks like when you see it. It's a beaut. And then for me, when it's called a soft touch. And this is one of those ones that just came out of the ethers, just like that, poof. And we have hanging around an old Chinese coolie hat from China, one of those ones there, been brought for over 20 years. So there was that, and I've been looking at it because, as I said, I'd go around thinking, well, what can I use? What can I? And I'd seen that hat, and I'd clocked it in my head. Oh, I've got that Chinese coolie hat. And then my partner had got these gloves that were over 20 years old, and they were all a bit perished, and he was going to throw them away at the time when there was a crisis in the world because of no masks and rubber gloves and things like that. And he put them in the rubbish bin, and I took them out. I said, you can't do that. I will do something with them. And then at that very moment, I saw the coolie hat, and I had the name, and it was just there like that, a soft touch. You see, and on the very top of it, there was a little coronavirus too. So it's got many connotations. It's got many connotations, this hat. And I was really pleased with it. I loved it. I loved the concept. I liked how it sort of within my life, I could have said I've been a soft touch. How we are being treated these days, are we a soft touch? It was one of my best ones.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And then, if you can show the other one first.
The other one is with the short nose. It's at the end. Just a minute, so we'll go there.
There he is, up there.
There he is. Okay,
right.
So let's show this one first.
So this is Pinocchio. I'm sorry when I see them. what comes over the woman. And I found the basket first. I was about to throw the basket out. I was cleaning up, as we all were during quarantines, cleaning out our sheds. And there was this old basket, and I was about to throw it away, and I thought, well, it's a bit like a Pinocchio hat, isn't it? And I let that idea stay with me for a while. And then I thought, oh, yeah, I can use Pinocchio, the lying, when they're telling lies and your nose grows. And I really felt at that time that we weren't getting the truth from all different areas. Yes, so it's and so up come Pinocchio. It's another one I really love.
That's the other one.
So that one was called The Ultimate Lie Detector, and this one is called Look Who's Telling Lies Again. So what older women do in their spare time, yes. And you see, this you can't see it, but the hand at the top was rather good because he's one of those drawing hands that you get. Yeah. So that took the longest to rig up, getting it on a piece of wood, screwing it in, hanging it down, so that it was really, you got that puppet thing.
Absolutely, it's wonderful.
Oh. Um, this what was it called? Piece of plastic, isn't it? The problem with plastic, and this obsessive collecting that I have extends to collecting plastic cartons that food and stuff come in that I can't bear to throw away at times. I just can't bear to do it. I feel so guilty and so wrong that this plastic that all that I'm buying is then going in. We're quite good on the recycling thing here in Norway, but it's got to be able to be used again. I don't know where it goes. I don't really know where it goes. I'm told where it goes, but other people say, oh, it doesn't go there. So, and so here is I'm one of the I'm from Star Wars, right? In one of the whatever they are, I can't remember the names of them, but the bits down the side and in front are chocolate box bits. I've got a bit of an addiction to violet creams, and that's what comes from there. And this one I put in because it was after the 50 days, but I kept a few going. And what do you do with an old clog? Well, an old garden clog, you put some tulips on it and put it on your head on a wet Sunday morning. Yes, hasn't got a name.
This one we've seen.
So this is Sushi Eater, Sushi Lover, and that was just getting all those little fish and putting them together. Really, if I'd had a bit more patience and time, I would have filled all the fishes with different coloured liquids, but oh, golly, I'm not doing that. I'll do a quick one for the necklace, right? That's all right.
Okay, is this the last one? No, we have a couple more.
And then we have Captain Nut. Captain Nut is out to save the universe. And this one is Captain Nut at your service. And all these nuts, apart from the thing that I've got in my hand, all the other things I've gathered myself. Yes. Wow. And from different parts of the world, and stuck them all on. And
did you glue them together?
Yes, glued them. And a glue gun is my faithful friend in all of this. It's quick and easy, and it does the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you've got that's it. Barking up the wrong tree.
Oh. I love the pun.
Yeah, and it's this collecting thing of mine. I go out into the woods and I collect all these natural bits that I just love. So these are all bits of and pieces from bark dried that have come off trees and lichen that I've had because I just love it. And then with this one here, the title came first because sometime the idea for the hat came and then the title comes, and then sometimes there's a title and then I work to fit the title up, and I when again with information that was being dished out, I had this idea of we're barking up the wrong tree. We're barking up the wrong tree, and that's how this one came about.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is a video, so let's try to see. Okay.
And so this one is called the Brain Train. And at this point in it, it was driving me mad. The radio spoke nothing of COVID. At least there is a bit more going on now with other things, yes, but nothing, like it was driving me crazy. And I had a dream about this, and I woke up with it in the morning. I thought, that hat, Brio train track, little train I've got, dump. And although it was an easy idea, getting the train track quite flat was a bit tricky. It took a lot of glue on the glue gun. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so let's stop the share. I think that was the last one, right? So, sisters, I see, let's see in the chat, yeah, there is someone who said something. Okay. That Sarah says that my sister says that she really loves it. It's terrific to have a backstory and reminder of the things that what it felt in early 2020. And if someone has if someone wants to ask a question, this is the time. You can, those who are watching on Facebook can also ask a question because I can see the feed. So we'll hold on. But in the meantime, can you tell us a little? You lived most of your life in England, and then you
I,
moved to Norway.
I was living. I've travelled around quite a bit and moved. Yes, so I'm a bit of a traveller, but not actually lived permanently in another country like here in Norway. And the story is, it's quite romantic as to how I got here, and that when
We
I
love
was 40,
romantic stories.
when I was 40, I hitchhiked to Prague for various reasons. And when I was in, which was very bold of me from England, right, hitchhiking to Prague. And then when I was there in Prague, I met this man, Arda, who I live with now. And we had a little bit of a romantic fling for 3 days. And then he went back to Norway and I England. And it just never materialized that we saw each other again until 18 years later. He, as I said, he's an acupuncturist, and I came to him for a treatment, and that was it. And then a year later, I'd moved to Norway. So
And how do you find life in Norway?
Norway is in relation to, say, the rest of the world at the moment. Norway is quite civilized in the way in which it's handling it, all of it. And Norway is slightly reserved, so there's not so much problem with not meeting people and stuff. And it's very safe, but it's also very cold.
Yeah.
And I really wouldn't mind a bit more sun. But on the other hand, these cold days like what we got now, I do think they're rather healthy for one to have this deep blast of cold that lasts, yeah. And they do have a very warm houses, so it's not too tricky and all of that. But wasn't my ideal place to be for growing old with aching bones and all the rest.
Yeah. Israel is a good place to be
Yes.
when you grow old with aching bones. Yeah. Anyone questions or you want to say something? You can unmute yourself or you can write something.
Hello, my name is Kim. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Kim.
Yeah. Hi, Liz. I guess crossed your paths in the art world a bit with intentional creativity, and just very tickled with your project of the hats. It just was inspiring me, and just the crevasses and the openings that you get to in your process, and listening a little bit more today to you sharing with that is just beautiful and brilliant as well. I do have one question for you. Your facial expressions, were you born with those facial expressions or did you have to do a lot of training?
I was born with them.
That's what I thought you would say. They're just, you are in it, and you are not only visually, you can, for me, I can also experience the depth of your soul interacting with your creative process and what is coming across. It is just beautiful and brilliant. So thank you so much for jumping in and doing what you do and who you are. Yeah, it touches me deeply and means a lot to me to witness your process and what you have to share. So thank you so much.
Oh, so sweet. Oh, thank you, Kim. Yeah, it's that at the very beginning I said I found my authentic self, you know, and I've done clowning, a bit of clowning, and I'm a fool and life. Part of me, one of my archetypes, I'm sure I connect sometimes to this Hayoka, the Indian plain sort of clown who comes around, and I always seem to be poking a bit as well, you know, but in using laughter as a means of opening discussion, I think it's been very good. But and to make those faces, I mean, I have made those faces in front of the mirror. I mean, I suppose that is practice, but it was not all to look like this, but I just do them because, and honest, sometimes I've looked at them and I think, oh, Liz, you're so ugly. Oh, you know, and to actually put them into something like that, it really did. It was a hugely healing experience to show myself as to who I was and what I've got without worrying. And there's one on there, and it's called King Lear. I mean, on the poster, and I mean, I really look quite. I sent it to my daughter before. I said, "Can I put this one up, Shana, or is it too much? You know, do I look really terrible?" And she said, "Go for it, mother." So I did, and it was good. It was fun. It was fun. And so many women came back to me and said thank you, much like what you were saying, because it was breaking some boundaries about this looking beautiful.
Right.
And sort of and it really, that was a very big part of it as it unfolded. I hadn't set out with that inclination. It just sort of unfolded as we went along, because it had to, and that felt very powerful, very powerful.
Yeah, I felt that continuity through your pieces. I haven't seen all of them, but to having that authenticity and allowing your expressive um, birthing of these pieces, and how that just continues to, I could sense a flow, you know, as we see these, they all have a very individual, powerful message to share. And as you have shared here in your process of it, which gives it even fuller life. But each piece in its own entity just has such, you know, beautiful, expressive qualities that are really dimensional, and I think reach so many people. So thanks again for being bold and being courageous and vulnerable and doing your thing, Liz. Thank you.
Oh, lovely, Kim. Thanks.
There is a question here from Jacinta on Facebook, and she's asking, "What are you doing with all those uh, lovely hats? So, what did you do with them
Oh,
after you recycled stuff? What are you doing with the stuff that you make?"
yeah, well, this is so first of all, it was great to have the stuff to use the hats. That was another important element of it. I had everything I needed for all of those hats in my workspaces and places where I keep things that I gather, because I gather and I think one day I can use that somewhere, you know, the way you do. And to be able to use it was great. But then afterwards, I had all these hats, and they were quite big and cumbersome, some of them. And you know, what do you do with them? So as they are at the moment, some have been dismantled, which are easy to put together again if they should be. And some I have outside in boxes, in cases. It's stored away. So it's a tricky thing. I mean, what do you do? I mean, you can't see here, but behind this disguise behind me is a huge mess of things. And then over there is another huge mess. And then behind that wall there's another, large area of collected stuff. So there's a bit of a thing here, is that on the one hand, you can have too much and it can stop creativity. Or on the other hand, it's all there. So when you've got it, you want to do something, you've got it. So it's keeping that fine line. I know lots of artists who are really minimal and got nothing, and they come into my studio and they nearly have a heart attack. There's just too much stuff in it. But I guess some of us can live like that, and I'm one of them. Yeah, I do go around my place at times and think, oh my God, what will happen when I die? All this stuff. I really should just start clearing it out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyone? Lucinda says that the making is fun and be present in what you felt in Corona time. Yes, it is fun. And if nobody has any other questions, I want to ask you, how can people connect with you? How can people find you? Where are you on social media? Do you have a website?
Yes, I have a website, which is www.lizzdaniels.com. Very easy, 2 Z's in Liz. And you can see all the hats and there and the posters. Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to flog my posters, but I do actually have posters to sell, which was the point. But I'm not really so very good at doing that part. I'm very good at making things, but the other bit. So anyway, they're there. The posters are there, and you can have a look at the hats anyway, whatever. And then I'm on Instagram, Daniels Liz, where they're all there, but they're probably way back down the line because of other stuff has gone on. And then I have a page called Creative Space on Facebook thing. So there's the 3: the website, the Creative Space, and Daniels Liz Instagram.
Okay, so I want to wrap this up. I want to thank you. And just before we get off, so if you want to be notified of other artists that I'm going to interview on my Facebook page, Mandala Healing, or YAEL GILOBA on Instagram, that's my handle. And if you're on my list, that will be easy because I notify everyone who is on my list. And I want to thank Liz. It was really, I think it was a brainwave for me. I was thinking, who do I want? I mean, I want someone that is really original. And then I remembered the hats. Or maybe I saw something that she posted. I don't remember, but I said, Liz, that's the one. And I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that you came on and you shared your story with us. And just if you have anything more to say, I'll be happy.
Okay, so here we go. This is the thing that you were another wild card for me. Yeah, I see things happening in life very unexpected. I had really got to a point where lack of motivation and lack of, and I'm going to be doing the Clearing Clutter with Flora very shortly, and that's coming up nicely. But this, and then when you sent me and said, would you like to do it? And this whole thing came up through me and went, yes, yes, yes. I really want to talk about my hands. Oh, yes. And thank you so much that you thought of that. And also to say that in life, these little things, there's always something out there. There is always something out there, and we've got to believe that they are out there. And I have these little affirmations around all over saying, and to believe in the wild cards and the unexpected, but sometimes we forget. And it restored me in that I am on the right track. That even though at times it feels as if, oh, what the hell is going on? I am on the right track, and I am putting out things, feelers, senses that people like you respond to at exactly the right time. And that it was a very good affirmation for me.
I'm
Lovely.
I'm really great. I'm really, really glad, and I want to thank you. I want to thank the participants, whoever was online with us, either on Zoom or on Facebook. And we shall meet next time on the next interview. And if you're an artist and you want to showcase your work, I'm really more than happy to do so because I think in each one of us there is a creative person, a creative soul that wants to be expressed. And I'm all about creativity. So thank you very much and see you next one. And thank you, Lizzie. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kim. Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.